welcome to the first Breast of Preps Beyond the Booth podcast for 2022. Phil, I was still talking when we went on live. Have you ever known me to overtalk?
No, not ever.
Getting your mic set here, Phil. Yeah, I've been known to ramble just a little bit, so that was just a little bit more ramble. But welcome, everybody. Football's wrapped up on us, Phil. Kind of into basketball season, but you and I love basketball. That's one good thing about it.
Yeah, I do enjoy basketball. I love high school basketball. I love college basketball. Not much of an NBA fan at all. Never have really been a whole lot of that since the Magic Johnson and Larry Bird days. Just really haven't kept up with that much. But I do enjoy high school basketball, boys and girls. And then, of course, I like college basketball, boys and girls, too. Of course, Lady Balls kind of bring you into that. When you're, oftentimes Tennessee basketball has been kind of circulated around the Lady Balls, because they, kind of put the stamp on the sport and helped it become what it is. But high school basketball is so much fun. It's dear to me, and that's what got me interested in girls high school basketball. Is down here in Northeast Alabama. Our teams are so competitive. Many state championships have been won at the high school level in Northeast Alabama.
Fife and Pisgah girls have probably won more state championships in basketball than the whole Chattanooga area in Tennessee have won since day one. I know at one point Fife had 6. I think Pisgah's even beyond that number. It's just incredible how many strong girl basketball players is from that area.
Yeah, and then you can throw in, like your Spring Garden. They are very good every year in and out, especially over the last several years. Of course, Skylines girls are always good. There's just so many good basketball programs here. And even in the past, the Valley Head girls, they got to the state semifinals once, I think the quarterfinals once, and then to the state finals one time. So basketball's been huge down here on the girls' side. The boys' side has gotten a lot better lately, though. They have really stepped up their game.
Plainview kind of led the way to that, winning a couple of state titles just recently.
Yeah, I think they went back-to-back, and I think they've won 3 or 4 maybe overall. Of course, Robbie Coker now has moved on from Plainview. He's now at Fort Payne, and boy, what a great start they're off to. I know they've played Scottsboro 3 times. Fort Payne's now won 2. They beat Scottsboro, I think, maybe 75-69, or he's around about 4-point game. I can't remember the exact score, but they avenged a tournament final loss to Scottsboro. But Fort Payne's boys are now 19-1 and ranked in the top 10 in Class 6A.
Well, and Scottsboro's kind of the class of the large schools for that Jackson-DeKalb County area. Scottsboro's had some success over the last couple of years.
Yeah, they had a battle with Guntersville and got all the way to the Final Four. Last year, Guntersville and them played, I think, maybe 4 times, and Scottsboro got them in the region finals, and then made it on to the Final Four down to Birmingham. So, yes, the last few years, Scottsboro has been very good, and they're good again this year.
So, Phil, I think you could probably bring us up to date. We kind of left the air right before Christmas, and last week I kind of forgot to set you up with the ability to talk to me. Next time we're together, we're going to solve that because I'm going to show you how to dial straight in the board. But we're in the middle of the county tournament. Do you have any finals on that? Who ended up winning?
We had not the county tournament, we had the Sand Mountain tournament.
Sand Mountain tournament.
Plainview pretty much, they dominated and swept the titles in the tournament here. The Plainview boys, Plainview girls both won the Sand Mountain tournament. But that takes nothing away. We got some pretty good teams around the area. I know Iders girls are pretty good. Fife girls are improved. But Plainview right now is kind of walking the walk in DeKalb County in girls and boys basketball both.
Up here in Chattanooga area, it's called the Best of the Prep. And it kind of includes North Georgia. I believe they've even took a team from over in North Alabama. But it's a 2-week-long tournament played at Chattanooga State. And this year, it was Chattanooga Christian getting both to the boys and girls finals, Phil, winning the girls' final 64-44 and losing to a very, very good Macaulay team, 71-61 in the finals of the Best of Preps boys division. But Phil, what may be the big story up here is the star at Chattanooga Christian that's on the rise. Eighth grader Momo Moore, Best of Preps tournament MVP, scored 22 points in the final. And I can only refer back to the time we were covering basketball in Alabama, and Ray was dominating the eighth grade, winning state championships as an eighth grader at 5.
I saw a little bit of a piece on him, and evidently he's an outstanding player to be able to lead the charge on a varsity level. So that says a lot about him.
Yeah, it's a girl.
That best of preps, that's great because it brings a lot of notoriety to the Chattanooga area basketball. Even when I went to school up there, Chattanooga was mainly football and baseball oriented, not much on the basketball side. So it's good to have those tournaments like that because they really bring teams up to a higher level because you get to play a lot better competition. And I've noticed right now, Red Bank's got a good team this year. I know they played Tyner the other night. I saw the highlights on the news, but there's some pretty good teams around Chattanooga, but we just don't hear a lot about them.
And it's referred to, Red Bankers referred to as the Road Warriors because they went into everybody's gym and basically won this year. Also, very, very good. Played Baylor game on the second, a very close game. A couple of teams of note in this area that's highly ranked would be, as we mentioned, CCS and the girls' side is ranked 9th in the state, and that's regardless of division. Grundy County, very good basketball team, girls basketball team, is ranked 10th, regardless of division. One of the true powers in boys basketball outside of the Macaulays and Chattanooga Christians is Cleveland has got a great boys basketball team, and also small school McMinn Central is very good, Phil. I think they're 15-1, 15-2 right now.
Yeah, because in the past when I went to school in the Chattanooga area, for basketball wasn't a big thing. Bradley Central was always good. Just always good. And of course, Cleveland's always going to be a very athletic program. But yeah, getting to find out a little more because you doing a little more of this gets me a little more interested to kind of sort of go back and see if I can find out a little bit what's going around Chattanooga because a lot of times when you talk about Tennessee, that's like especially girls basketball, it's like Shelbyville and places like that. Not a whole lot around the Chattanooga area.
Well, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention Coach Tracy Best from North Sand Mountain, father of our weekly coaches show. We have the Tyler Van. Coach Best is actually Hannah Van's dad, and Hannah and I were talking. And there's a huge Christmas tournament up at Ray County, and the Ray County girls actually won that tournament, and the boys are like 19-2 right now.
Yeah, so that's very good. That the Chattanooga area is growing in basketball. But over the years, Randy, basketball has really grown in popularity. It continues to grow. Used to when you get to about the Tennessee line north, it was basketball. But it's spread into the South now. There's a lot of kids that plays basketball over football now. It used to not be that way.
Well, and I think we got to take the lead to the success that the Tennessee men's basketball program has had in the last several years. I read in an article today, the Vols are there was only 3 teams to be ranked in the top 5 at some point in the last 3 years. And it was like Tennessee, Arizona, Gonzaga, and, schools that you wouldn't think of Tennessee being in there with. And that program has really put a statement on basketball in the state. Used to be all about Memphis, and it was kind of a West Tennessee thing. Now it's a little more spread out in the state of Tennessee.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and of course Tennessee has kind of fallen short in those opportunities to get to the Final Four. Last year Even when Ziegler went out, the opportunity was there to them get to the Final Four. But it just didn't happen. I know the one year that we lost on a poor call, I thought, to Michigan State when they called us for an offensive foul when the player that was backing down the defender does that time and time and time again. But that's where sometimes a school gets a little more respect that shouldn't get in a position like that, because Tennessee was the up and coming and Michigan State has been there. So I think that kind of hurt us in that position. But, Tennessee's kind of fallen short. But, you look at right now, they're doing well, and it brings a lot of interest, not just in the Tennessee, but in the whole entire Southeast, because Tennessee becomes that measuring, where they raise the bar for everybody else, and everybody right now is chasing them.
Yeah, and Kentucky is currently ranked 6th, and Tennessee's kind of took a step in conference ahead of Kentucky. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention last year Alabama had a very, very good team, including the top 5 draft pick. So, and I love Alabama's coach. It seems like, and of course, Bruce Pearl at Auburn has put together some nice runs. Georgia struggles. Florida has been struggling the last several years, but it seems like the different teams have put together a nice little run in the SEC.
Yeah, because here in the last few years, Arkansas has been pretty good. They kind of slipped back this year, boy. Auburn's took it to them the other night, but Arkansas has been very competitive. They really outdone the entire SEC come tournament time the last couple of years when everybody was pointing at Kentucky and pointing at Alabama and pointing at Tennessee. Arkansas was the team that come tournament time that really showed out. That was the way it was last year. So, that's the thing is about the SEC. And I don't think we really have a lot of elite teams in the SEC, but it's so competitive, they're dangerous at tournament time.
And I would be remiss if I didn't mention the power in that has always been in SEC women's basketball, but it's kind of shifted away from Tennessee. LSU, South Carolina, has even kind of replaced UConn at the very top of women's college basketball.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're going to have that kind of thing happen. UConn and Tennessee dominated it for so long. And
I think I just knocked us off trying to do that. Um, all right, let's see if we got some sound. Somebody out there, let me know if our sound's a little better. I'm sorry we got knocked off. I just wanted to try to improve this sound. Um, Brian Smith, if you're listening out there, how's the sound now? Um, check 1, 2, 3. Okay, we got our sound back. All right.
Okay, good deal.
Good deal. I don't know what happened there, but I'm going to put us in break for a minute. And everybody stick with us, and we'll be back with Isaac in just a minute now that we got the sound problems solved. Give us just a minute. We'll bring Isaac on and get this ship rolling here in just a minute. Thank you for letting us know.
We need to have good sound because Isaac's the star.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. For all you that sat through us just jabbering, now this is the show now.
Yeah.
All right, let me get Isaac. I'm glad they said something about the sound being out. Looks like I got it fixed. And I got us on commercial.
Michigan 7-0.
Is it?
Yeah, they went right down the field like it wasn't nothing. Washington's so terrible. Washington, Texas was so terrible on defense. But Phoenix has got them moving.
I like Phoenix.
They're all over the field. They're going all over. They're spreading the field.
All right, I'm calling Isaac.
Hello.
Hey, buddy, I lost sound, and your dad actually told me. So let me get Phil in here. All right, Phil, you here with Isaac?
Okay.
Can you hear him, Isaac?
Oh, yeah. Hey, what's up? Hey, how are you, sir? Good. How are you? I'm proud of you. I'm proud things are going good for you. Thank you.
All right, here we go. We're going to pull out a commercial, and we'll come back live. All right, everybody, I think we got, well, we were still on the air, no commercial played, so we're still running good. If we have any more sound problems, I don't know what happened. I reset the server. Let me know in the comments that we don't have any sound. So we want to go ahead and bring a good friend of the show, a young man Phil and I have known since he was sitting in the seats next to us at Tennessee football games, and a young man that's got a very important announcement that he's going to talk about a little bit with us. Welcome aboard, Isaac Smith.
Hey, how you doing?
All right, Isaac, I'm doing well. Phil, let's ask Isaac a couple of questions before he gets into his official commitment announcement. So if you've got something you'd like to ask him, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I ask biggest thing, of course, I kind of sort of kept up with you over the years is, what really got you into competitive sports? I know it probably had a lot to do with your dad, but what made you decide that you really wanted to get into competitive sports?
Well, it's been a pretty constant grind since I've been a younger kid. Me and my dad, we've always been working in the gym, and working out's always been a big part, and so it's always been really competitive. And I mean, it's just been a part of my life ever since I've been a little kid, and I enjoy it. And I enjoy competition, so I haven't felt like stopping yet.
Yeah, well, that's kind of, brings me to the next question, and that's what, that's what makes Bill's character, you become goal-oriented, but competitive sports has had to have done a lot for you, even off the field, in your schoolwork, in your personal relationships. I just think it broadens a young person's mind. It broadens their competitiveness. I'm sure you've taken a lot from playing competitive sports.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Competitive sports has helped me a lot throughout life. I mean, competitive sports gives you like a difference from high school sports, because if you just stick to high school sports, depending on what you play, you don't get to meet as many people, but you don't get to experience the level of the game that it needs to be played at. Like if you're trying to go to the college level and then on to the professional level. So it gives you a competitive edge and something always to strive for, always to look forward to.
Well, you always was good at soccer. There ain't no that. What made you get into kicking the football as far as and playing football and being a kicker? I know you're always good at soccer. There's no doubt about it. But what turned you on to being a field goal kicker or punter?
Isaac, you with us? I think we dropped Isaac. Let me add. That's a great question, Phil. Let me add Isaac back here. I think we dropped him. Sound is crazy tonight, and just stay with us. We'll get it solved. Oh, there we go. We're calling Isaac now. For everybody listening, thank you for being patient with us. Isaac, did we drop you there, buddy?
I think the call failed.
Oh, okay. Well, Phil had asked you a question about what got you into playing football at a competitive level, being a kicker or punter, especially.
Honestly, it was my sophomore year, the spring season, so like around the soccer time of my sophomore year. It was whenever Coach O was still coaching football, and we had our SRO who was planning on coaching over the summer and coaching during the fall season. But they both ended up going to Saudi Daisy together, which, I mean, that's fine and all, but they both ended up going to Saudi eventually. And, I mean, they would come up to me every single day throughout the week from Monday to Friday and ask me if I wanted to play football. It's kind of a funny story because I was playing kickball in gym one day, and Coach O said that I've got a lot of strength, so he wanted me to come out and see if I could kick, and he had to tell my dad and promise my dad that he wouldn't put me in any extra situations where I could get hurt for soccer, and just so that we could have a new kicker, because that's really what our team lacked, was just a guy who could kick. So, it was really those two that influenced my decision a lot.
But you ended up starting at wide receiver towards the end of your senior year. So
yeah, kind of my choice.
Yeah. Go ahead, Phil, if you got another question.
No, go ahead. You ask. That's a couple of things I want to know about. I just wanted to, especially know, how he ended up playing football, because I knew somebody had to influence you.
Well, Isaac, before we go any farther, I do have one question before you announce your, and I know, how you sure that you couldn't have gone wrong. You love football and soccer, but before you tell us where you're going, what about the schools and the coaches that did commit or did recruit you? It's got to be a special feeling to have a coach say, would you come to my school and play soccer or football?
Oh yeah, no, 100%. It's a really cool feeling, especially because, I got to go experience things in different states like North Carolina, Missouri, and it really just gave me kind of confidence in myself. Like, look at all the work that I've done, and it's finally paying off. And all these schools are reaching out to me and wanting to talk to me, and throwing offers my way and wanting me to come to their school and play. And so it's good to have options, but it's also hard when you have options, because then towards the end, once you're wrapping up and having to choose, then you have to choose from all of those options which one you think is going to be the best fit for you. So I think there's good things, and there's, I mean, it's not, I wouldn't call it a bad thing. It's just difficult things that come with that.
I know you've made your commitment, so why don't you go ahead and tell everybody, it's kind of public, but I want you to formally tell us what your decision is and your process to make that decision.
Well, I chose to go to Tennessee Wesleyan to play soccer because, I mean, there's a lot of different reasons why I chose it. Some had to do with the fact that it's pretty close to home. I mean, there's a lot of different factors that went into it. Close to home, I really like the coaching staff, the campus. I fit pretty well in with the team. I know a lot of the guys on the team, so there's that going into effect. And yeah, I mean, there was a bunch of stuff, but those are really the main ones. It's the coaches, just the area, and yeah, that's really about it.
Isaac, soccer. I know you love soccer, and you've played soccer since, probably 10 years, 12 years. How long have you been playing competitive soccer?
Competitive soccer? Oh, I have absolutely, that's a question for my dad. I don't even remember when I started. Probably, probably, sorry, I think it cut out for a second.
Okay,
probably,
you're okay.
I'd say, hold on, I'll ask my mom. When did I start playing competitive soccer? Like, how old was I? Like CSC?
CSC, you were probably 7.
7, she said?
7, and you are now 18, I believe, or fixing to be 18.
Yep. I'm getting old.
Yeah, you are. Yeah. Isaac, the socks I've got on right now is older than you, so that's old. Was there ever, I really felt like you loved football. Was there ever a time that you really thought about a future in football, or was it always kind of soccer for you?
No, yeah, 100%. There for a minute, I went to the Chris Taylor kicking camp, and all that stuff was going well. I was getting ranked there, and a couple of schools had actually came to the school and talked to the coaches about me, and I talked with them. And so for a second there, I was like, if the right school comes and I get the right, like the right package and the right offer, I would have loved to take a football offer because, I mean, I don't know. I love soccer, but football's a different kind of sport. I don't know what it is. There's something in that hose water they give us over the summer, I guess. It's the most family that you can feel, I think, in a sport.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd say I enjoyed them both in different ways.
Well, Isaac, I want to ask you, in your decision was, a lot of times you know good well if you would have gone and been a field goal kicker somewhere, you would have probably had to travel way off. Did some of your decision, was it impacted by wanting to stay closer to home?
Yeah, partially it was because I wanted to stay close to home. And actually, whenever I was a kid, whenever I was probably 7th through 9th grade, I'd say, or maybe 10th, before I realized how far away it was, my dream school was to go to Stanford and play soccer. And Stanford is almost the farthest away that I could have gone to school. So I wanted somewhere, pretty far away from home, but then, I don't know, I guess I went and experienced places that were farther away from home and realized that, I don't know, I'd like to stay a little bit closer than what I thought.
Well, and I guess too, and probably you have to give a lot of credit to your parents who have been there for you day and night. And, and the good thing about staying close to home, they're going to still be able to go to every match you have. And that has to mean a lot because you have to have a good supporting cast to be where you're at now.
Oh yeah, I went up to William Woods University in Missouri. It was about 20 minutes outside of Columbia, Missouri, where Missouri University is at, and so I really liked it there. Like I had an amazing time. The school, the coaching staff, the players, all of it was really, really good. Other than the fact that the only way that I could get there would be like a 10-hour car ride or a plane, and I flew there. But I was thinking, and I mean, they'd be able to maybe come to one game per year, all around that same area. So that was a big key deciding factor in why I didn't necessarily go there. But yes, staying close to home. I didn't think I wanted to do it, but the older I got, the more I was like, yeah, that's pretty far away. That's a long drive.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with being a homebody. There ain't nothing wrong with that. You know, a lot of more family and friends get to come watch you play.
Yep.
Yeah. Go ahead, Randy.
Isaac, speaking of that, when people talk about competitive soccer, it's really not. I mean, in everybody in football is going to say SEC, Big Ten. Soccer, some of the smaller schools and the smaller conferences play top line soccer, and I know Wesleyan plays a very good soccer schedule and has a pretty good soccer tradition.
Oh yeah, no. Props to Coach Luke Winter. He's been my kind of personal training coach ever since I could remember. Ever since I started competitive soccer and wanted to take it seriously. He's built a really, really good program at Tennessee Wesleyan, and the assistant coach Cody Crippen. They both worked extremely hard to get the program to where it's at, and I've been able to see it build from ninth grader whenever I started to pay attention to college up until the point when I committed there. So, I mean, I felt like the tradition was good. The team always believes, and they went the farthest they've got, I think, if I'm not mistaken, ever. This last year round, they went past the first round of the playoffs, and a couple mistakes cost them the game that they lost that next round, but they could have and should have won that game. So it just gives me a bright idea for the future. And like I said, I'm really competitive. I'm a competitive guy. I like to win. And I think going here, I'm going to win a lot. And that's going to be the best option for me to just become a better player.
Isaac, as somebody covers you in football, you like to win. I will agree with that statement. And you hate to lose, even worse, I believe.
Oh, yeah. Losing's the worst. Yeah.
Hey, Isaac, talk about your family and your support system, because you do have a great family that's always surrounded you. And, you know, your dad just replied and said you started soccer at 3 was your first time playing soccer at all.
Yep.
Your family has carried you. I mean, I know at one point this fall, as we were getting reacquainted, you would play on Friday night, and then you might be in Atlanta on Saturday to play soccer, and it's been a task.
Oh yeah, no, it's this fall was really hard, and everything kind of ran out of time. Like, I didn't have a lot of time to do much of stuff, but no, I mean, my support system's the reason that I'm still pumping and still going. On Friday nights, you look in the stands an hour before the game, there's my granny and papa sitting there waving at me and stuff. My aunt gets there 5 minutes later. Then you've got the whole crowd's there and all my family's there. My mom, Chris, my dad, Sandy, and then all my other family, my grandparents, my aunts, my little cousin who has aspirations to the rest of their play football. So, I mean, that's always good to try to show as much character as I can on the field. And yeah, I mean, overall, it's just, it was a really hard time this fall, I think if I didn't have the support system, I'm not sure that I would have made it all the way. But yeah, my support system really helped me through this fall.
It was a tough time, and I mean, me and you, we talked several times, and you also had a coaching staff in football and soccer that kind of understood your desire to play both, correct?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. My football coaches, they just said, we need you to kick at the best of your ability, and they understood that. I mean, I had a really knack for it, and so. But they understood that I've also been playing competitive soccer since I've been so young, and so they realized. I mean, they understood the need for both. So I didn't have to miss much of either. It kind of worked out perfectly in my schedule where I had just enough time to do both and not really anything else. I'd go from football practice after school, go home, sit in an ice bath, go to soccer practice, come back, go home, sit in an ice bath, and go to sleep. That was my schedule pretty much every day all fall.
You've worked hard. Any consideration about majors or future? Or, I mean, you've got a great school up at Wesleyan. What have you thought about for a career?
Well, I'm in the plan of the internship class right now at Hixson. It's a really good program. Hixson's got the best programs in my opinion. We've got the business, we've got the medical, and I've been doing a lot of like exercise science stuff, so stuff to do with like physical therapy and that sort of thing. So either something in that or something in like the criminal justice field would be my two top choices probably right now.
Either get you up and get you healthy or put you in jail. I like that.
Exactly.
Phil, you got any more questions? Yeah, see if I can remember what I was. I lost track of thought that when you said that. Isaac, as a young person, as you've grown up, as you've matured, I know when you're young, you don't pay a lot of attention to a lot of things. But as you've gotten up to be an upperclassman in high school, do you ever kind of look around and understand what a role model you are at school? Because these kids, they don't really pay much attention to what you say. They watch your actions. Do you, take notice of that? Because when I was in school, it was the same way. You're on a certain, pedestal, and these kids look up to you. So it's important to be the best that you can be at all times, on the field, off the field, in the classroom, because you inspire a lot of other people.
I think I really started to realize it this year, like later of last year. So my junior year, my spring season, because I took on the captain role with my two other co-captains, I guess you could call it, of Chris and Jamie on the soccer team. And so I had to start leading by example a lot more than I had, because up until that point, I was on the team, but we had captains, we had older guys, freshman and sophomore year, who I could look up to and try to model myself off of. But yeah, last year I became the captain of the soccer team, and that really, it got me into the mindset. Now I want to thank Coach Lessentine for that, was making me understand that, like, hey, you are the reason that this team is gonna either stay where they're at and stay dormant and just not do anything, or climb to that next level to where once your senior year hits, we're going to be off and rolling. And then that rolled right over into the summertime, where Coach Rivers had changed everything. Everything was going on the uphill. Everything was getting a lot better. And so I really had to change my act and look around and be like, yeah, I mean, these young guys are looking at me. They're watching what I'm doing. They're talking to me all the time. And so, like, I guess it's like a switch in my brain where, like, everything that I did had a purpose now. Everything that I was doing had a purpose to show them what they need to be doing once I'm gone. Because that's what I tell the guys on the soccer team. We're not going to be here forever. So you're going to have to learn to push for yourselves and not have to look to us to push you past that limit of what you think you can do in your brain.
That's good, because I mean you've got it, like, you've got it mapped out, because and it'll continue to be that way, because you'll always be a leader. It never changes. It might be a vocal leader. It might be a leader by example, but you will always be a leader. Once you've got a taste of it, you'll continue to be one.
Yeah, and I think that also changed a lot too. I led by example a lot. Like, just growing up overall, I think I led by example, but that junior and then turning into my senior year so far, the vocal part has came in too. I've had a little bit stronger little guy in my chest talking for me, so I've been able to just get my point across more and be more understood and have more patience with people. Would be the one thing that I can say that I've really gained over this whole senior year so far, has just been patience and understanding what I have to do to get guys to a certain level.
Phil, let me interject something here. Isaac, I was at the middle school championship game, and Hixson loses to Chattanooga Prep. The last guy off the field that night was Issac Smith, a senior football player, and you went around and you talked to so many kids that night. That to me was the most impressive thing you did your senior year, was just watching you interact with the younger kids and encourage them. Do you feel like you've become that much part of Hixson?
I think so. I think I kind of like that's what I've told people. I wish I would have started my freshman year, because football's something that I wish I could have back every day, but I can't. So I mean, it is what it is. But no, yeah, and I think a huge part of that goes to Coach Rivers too. I mean, he brought the programs together. Like he meshed them together, and so I mean, we had middle schoolers as ball boys at our games, stuff like that. So I knew a lot of those guys on more of a personal level, rather than just, hey, they're on the Hixson middle school team. Now that's coaching them into like, hey, that's how it's going to be my senior year. So I want to go to Hixson rather than going somewhere where I could go to a private school or something. I could go to Hixson and have the same success. So, yeah, I think I did really embrace a role over the fall season of just being there for, like, just knowing those guys in a personal enough relationship where I could go after the game and actually talk to them and just give them my 2 cents on losing championship games, because I've been there times and it's definitely not the best.
And just to address it a little farther too, you had a great football season, and y'all created some historical moments. But during the year, we talked a couple of times here on RiverCity Media. I talked to you, Coco, the quarterback. I can't remember his name right now off the top of my head. Give me the name, Isaac.
Chase,
the former middle linebacker turned quarterback.
Yep.
And I talked about being able to leave a legacy at the school by going from a 1-win, 2-win team to your senior year, making a run into the playoffs and beating Lenore City out there. What's your best memory of playing football as far as that 2-year run you had there?
Oh, hold on. You're going to have to give me a second. That's a hard question.
Well, I was going to ask you one hard one. I might as well get it in.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me think. Oh, there's probably too many to say. I'll section it out a little bit. I guess probably one of my best moments was Saudi Daisy whenever we played them this year. Last year we beat them 21-14, I think, and that had been one. I think. I don't think I know. I had a lot of success last year in my field goals, and I was walking the sideline last year when we were playing Saudi Daisy. It was 21-14 was the score. They were driving down the field. It's like, I don't know, maybe 2 minutes left in the game. It was close. It was close to done as it could be, and they were making that last drive, and I was like, oh Lord, here we go. So they get, and if they would have scored, we would have had to drive as much of the field we could and send me out there for another field goal. So that year I kicked maybe 3 actual game winners, and then a couple more that just like separated the game, like 17-14 wins. And so
huge kick at East Ridge. That kick at East Ridge will forever be for me one of the most specials.
Yeah, and so I was walking the sideline and I was talking to everybody and just getting ready, and then our defense came up. I think it was Brandon, actually. He ended up going to the University of the Cumberlands up there in Kentucky, but I think he actually swatted the pass down on 4th down. We stopped him on 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, and they had a pretty good quarterback. All I remember is the kid was huge, and he rolled out, and Brandon swatted it down and ended the game. So that's probably my better moments. And then I did have a lot of good moments. It's hard to say which one's my favorite. The Signal Mountain one kind of put me on the map as apart from just a regular guy. Like, instead of being like just being a kicker at the school and not doing much, I went from that to then, like, yeah, I guess that's something that kind of boosts your status at school. So that, and then honestly, I said, okay, we'll just put the Loudon game this season. Whenever we played Loudon, that's probably my favorite moment of all time, because I'm pretty sure my punting average was in the 50s somewhere during that game. I'm not sure. I think it was mid to high 50s that game. I kicked all my kickoffs through the end zone. I had a couple go out of the back. My blocking was really good because all week, I mean, that had been one of our games where we marked it on the map. We were like, we've got to win this game if we're gonna have any aspirations to or inspirations to go play for that region championship later on in the season. It's gonna have to be. If we're gonna have to beat Loudon first, that's gonna be our first obstacle. And we brought the aggression all week long at practice. It was a different feeling of a week at practice. It was the competitive level was definitely there. There was a few scuffles that we had to break up during the week because everybody was just so juiced up going and ready to play in that game. And we got to Friday, and the feeling on the bus was a good one. I mean, it was a good feeling on the bus going up there. We get to the locker room and we're jamming out some music. We're chilling. I mean, we were fine. Loudon actually came like as we were walking off the field for warm-ups and was talking a little bit of trash. And they were saying like, "Oh yeah, we're already 5-0," because they were 4-0. And I mean, I guess that's one of those things where don't talk too soon, I guess. But we ended up winning that game 31-27. I think on the first drive we kicked the field goal. And then we scored we scored a lot more, but we held them. And no team, I mean, every team they played up until that point had been beaten like 28-0, 35-0. I mean, they just weren't even in the same competitive ballpark. And I think we kind of punched them in the mouth, and I don't think they were ready for it and couldn't take it. So, and then definitely after, and the bus ride back from Loudon. I mean, that's a long bus ride, especially if you lose. But whenever you win, it goes by a little bit quicker whenever the whole team's partying and having fun, including Coach Rivers. He's a big guy, but once you get to know him, he's on the inside. He's a really, really, really fun guy to be around.
Heart of gold. It's Coach Rivers. Isaac, did we lose you?
Oh no, I'm still there.
Okay. I want to, Phil, I'll come back to you for a final question too. You're exactly right about Coach Rivers, though. Heart of gold. Anything else you want to give us, Isaac?
Not really. I think that's about it. I'm good.
Well, let me tell you my story, and then I'm going to turn over the field to ask you a couple of final questions. Driving home that night, I get a text from Coach Cooley, and I look down, and I'm driving, and I don't want to read it, so I just push voice on it, and it said, "Shock the world." And I immediately pulled over and started looking for the score once Coach Cooley texted me. So that's a special one for me too. So
yeah, that game, that'll be forever burned into my mind. Because that was all of the David and Goliath that you needed. They were bigger. Record was better. I mean, they were stronger, it looked like. I mean, I don't know. I think, and I mean, we all blocked well that game. I mean, everything that went well for us went well in that game. So yeah, that game was a lot of fun for sure.
Phil, anything you want to ask Isaac to close up tonight?
Well, I just kind of want to make a comment. I know Isaac, it's been a long time since I've seen you, and of course, I don't know if you remember me that well, but I remember when we went to the football games and you came to many of them, and I was always impressed about your competitiveness. And you always wanted to throw a football, kick a ball around, and I just could just tell by your competitive spirit that you really enjoyed sports. So I'm darn proud of you for what you've accomplished, and your family has to be proud of you. And I know I've following you all these years. I hope great things are going to come to you in the future, because it sounds definitely you've got the work ethic and you're going to make things happen. And I just want to let you know I'm darn proud of you.
Thank you so much.
Isaac, I'm going to close this out tonight, but I really want to. We've mentioned them a couple of times, but you've got such a great family that was there in row 2 every time. But you got a great family at Hixson, and I praise you for your decision. I might come to my first college soccer game ever to come watch you play next year. That'd be you get me to a soccer game, you've accomplished something.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Yes, sir. Also, I want you to just shout out your Hixson family there just a little bit at school, because I know you got a lot of friends over there. Anybody you want to shout out?
Oh Lord. The whole soccer team. I guess Michael, Coco, always.
Coco is my man now.
Yep. Lawan, Hewley, that's my dog. I take him home every day after school pretty much. Today I couldn't because I had to go help my friend look for some goalkeeper gloves. But other than that, I think that's about it that I can think of.
Well, we're very proud of you, and you have been a fine representative of Hixson, and I'm a member of the community, and we can't ask for better representation than you and that football team and the soccer team. And again, thank you for being part of Hixson High School. I know I got an 8th grader that was excited when you committed last night. So congratulations.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us, and I appreciate it. For Phil and Randall, we'll be out here too. And we'll be back next week with Beyond the Booth. Hey, Isaac, I got an idea. Tennessee Wesleyan Soccer on RiverCity Media. What do you think?
That'd be nice.
All right. Good night, and God bless everybody.